ears hear the sound of time, stories weaving words that climb, whispered tales in a cozy nook. Welcome to the magic of every book. Bookshelf babble, take the stage, turn the chapter, fill the page. Laughter, wisdom, stories to spare, a podcast world where books are everywhere. From paperbacks to leather spines, mysteries, thrillers, and classic lines. Stories crackle, voices ring, dive on in, it's a podcast thing. Adventures waiting just one word away, from Austen's romance to Hemingway. Gather round, it's the bookish delight, unfold the tales under podcast light. Bookshelf babble, take the stage.
Hey, hello everyone. You're welcome in Bookshelf Babble Podcast's live session in HelloTalk application, where we talk about books and related topics. If you like it, just join to our conversation. And we start our session today. Okay, let's go to HelloTalk. If you're not familiar with this platform, it's a platform where people learn languages around the world, and I very often use this platform to improve my native speaking skills. And I like this application because it provides functionality when you can create your voice room and suggest some topics and talk with people around the world about it. And here, if you want to join us, just find the voice room that has name "What book are you reading?" Okay, and we start our session today. And as a regular, I just like to tell hello and write to some people that I'm streaming the live session here. Okay, I send, and we just wait when people join here. Okay. Yeah, I think it's all set up, is ready. It's just platform where people like to connect, join, and talk about any topics. Very often it's like a very strange topic, just like some kind of chatting. But I'm like to use this application to talk about books. Okay, we wait when someone join. And this time maybe I just tell some word what I'm reading in current moment. I just started and continue read a book that has name Humans of New York. It's very nice book. It's photo album where a lot of pictures of some strangers that photographer took the photo on the New York streets. And often photography not just like to take the photo, she just write the story of these people. I think she has several questions that she very often ask them. It's most about what kind of fear you have, what do you dream about, or maybe what is sadness, and depend on what people answer these questions, they apply to add some stories under the photo. Sometimes it's just like to one sentence. Sometimes it's like to some several sentences, and sometimes it's just like to whole page when show like to whole story of person who owns the image, and very often it's like very very private and very like to very private story. I like it, and I like this kind of format, and I suggest read this book that has name Humans of New York Stories, and I also find that another version of this book, just called like Humans of New York. I think it's more about it's more about it's more about photos, because idea of this book was like to evolve it from like to photo albums to photo album with stories. I very like this book, and by several reasons. One of them because I like to not just watch, just like to see the picture. I want to see what present on the background, because on background you can see a lot of like details, how like a building looks like, how like a park look like how the road looks like, or some elements what is related to specific place and context. And I just try to transfer myself in this in this image, and try to feel about this current moment where picture was taken. Okay, we go here, and we have new participant join here. Hello. Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Not bad. What about you?
Yeah, I'm fine too, thanks. In first question, what book are you reading in current moment? Can you share with us?
Yeah, of course. My book, my last book, you mean?
It's not matter. Maybe what are you currently reading, or maybe you completed, or maybe your favorite. What do you want?
Right. 1 minute, please. Alice's in Adventures
Okay,
on Wonderland.
you just like to original story on English, or you read on your language?
English. Just trying reading. Yeah.
Okay, I think this book is so very strange. I not read this book, but I feel it's very complicated, because contain a lot of allegories, and contain a lot of to English to construction. I think it's very very complicated for reading. Do you read in are you reading in original, or maybe in adapted version?
I think it's original version, like on English only.
Okay, is it complicated to understand language?
It's very hard, but sometimes when I'm not understanding, I'm just like translate it and that's it.
Yeah.
Is it Ulysses? What do you mean? Huh, huh, hmm, hmm. What your book?
Yeah, I just share what I am reading. I told, but I just let you repeat. Now I'm reading book that has name Humans of New York Stories.
Hmm.
This is photo album where alongside this picture of strangers from New York streets present and some stories of these people, because after photographer, when they took the photo, they just like to take some short interview of these people and ask some kind maybe private questions, some kind of like to dreams, fears, or anyone what these people want to share. And this photo contains like to some shots, like to several sentences, sometimes only one sentence or some kind of dialogue. It's very, very nice book. Yeah, I like it.
I heard about this book firstly, the first time. Huh.
Yeah. I, I, I don't as like especially looking for this book. I just found this in a second-hand bookshop, and this book attracted my attention, and it's how I found this book. It's just like something random happen.
In second-hand library, they have a lot of strange books, I think. A lot of unpopular books which you wanna gonna go interesting. Huh.
Yeah, I very like this kind of like to shopping. It's my kind of ritual. I every Sunday or maybe like one or two times per month go to this shop, go through the shelves, and just buy 2 or 3 books what attract my attention. Yeah, it's like my ritual. Okay, we have one additional guest here. Hello, how are you?
Hello, guys. May I join your conversation?
Yeah, nice. Can you share with us what book are you reading in current moment, or maybe you completed?
Yeah, I'm currently reading a book called Good Omens. If you heard about it, it's like a bestseller from British authors, and they even filmed a TV series based on it. Very funny comedy story about like good and bad and heaven and what the opposite of heaven?
Hell.
Heaven and hell, yeah, like God and devil and stuff like this. Very easy to read and a lot of vocabulary connected to like religious and stuff like this. I would recommend it for everyone who like want to extend their vocabulary and improve their like English. Very good read, very good. And I started reading books not so long ago, like in last year, and I've read already about like 5 or 6 books. And yeah, all of them like my focus on the most popular and bestsellers on the market. Like that simple. They usually will have very simple grammar and language and stuff like this. And
Okay.
what was the book you were talking about as I
Uh,
joined you?
yeah, I just
Kama
sorry.
Sutra.
Yeah.
And
Oh, really? Oh my God.
No.
Do they do they have an English version? Yeah.
only in originally, right?
Oh.
No, I think it's a joke if you correctly heard. Uh, yeah, it's like Terry Pratchett. Yeah, it's Good Omens.
Yeah. Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Gaiman. I don't know.
I found this book. Yeah, thanks for suggestion. Is it like this? I think this book was written like original like to English writer, but you mentioned the language is so some simple. Because from
Well,
my experience when I read true original English book, it's very often they very like complicated language, and some it's more complicated to read than translation on English from in other languages.
Yeah, maybe you are right, but this kind of books like bestsellers and very popular ones, they usually the authors stick to like or stick with a simple uh, language so you can read it like I don't know, a couple of chapters in one go. So, well, I don't know, like it's a personal stuff, yeah, and if
Yeah,
your language is developed enough, you can consume books very easily.
yeah. It's depend on book and author too.
And
I think.
I believe that you were talking about like books, for example, classical one or mm, like
Yeah,
Shakespeare, for example, or it's very difficult to
yeah,
keep up
yeah.
and
I think
read.
it's depend on the book and the time when this book written.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly, exactly.
okay, we have one additional guest here. Saleh, how are you? Hello.
Hello, friends. Doing good, and you?
Hi.
Yeah, we're fine, thanks. Can you share with us what are you reading?
For sure. First of all, let me congratulate you for holding this kind of conversation, which are infrequent in this application.
You're welcome.
That's
You're welcome,
yeah,
bro.
that's amazing. Um, I'm reading a book in pedagogy. Um, it's um, it's titled "Learning Vocabulary in Another Language," and it has been written by a specialist in the field of vocabulary learning in another language, a person was called Paul Nation. Um, so the book is talking about a model that he single-handedly developed himself in the 1990s, but is still working in the field of education and teaching languages. And this book is talking about four major conditions. If you want to acquire more vocabulary, you should follow four steps or four main components of the process of learning. One of them is comprehensible input. So, for example, if you are studying or reading a text, you should at least understand 95% of the vocabulary, and only 5% of the vocabulary should be unknown to you. Now, if you feel that you understand only 50% of the vocabulary, don't carry on. Just go for more simple text. That's condition number one. Condition number two is related um, to the balance between the skills, because um, the uh, the teaching of language or learning language has depends on four skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And if you want to learn, for example, language, you should give um, equal time per each skill. For example, give 10 minutes for reading, 10 minutes for writing, 10 minutes for listening, and 10 minutes for speaking. Now, if you focus more on reading and forgot and then there will be a kind of balance, because you can understand words and but you cannot express them. That's condition number two, and I'm sorry for making my talk longer. Um, the number three is fluency. Now, what is fluency? Is not to produce something new. It has to do only with recycling what you have learned before. Because let me just give you an example. If you're learning Japanese and you know numbers in Japanese, and you know the number from 0 to 9, and you can express them in Japanese, but uh, yeah, exactly, that's the book you have stated, Johanny. Um, if you understand the numbers, that doesn't mean that you can express them, because someone from Japan can tell you his phone number in a quick fashion, but you cannot grasp the numbers. So what is fluency? Fluency is just to make the process fast when you are practicing the language and you're trying to recycle this on a daily basis. So yeah, that is the idea. I'm still learning from the book, but I haven't completed it yet.
Okay, thanks for your sharing. Uh, I think it's very is some ideas what you mentioned so very resonate and with me. And if you learn something special, like to any language, if you learn, it's very important to split on some different kind of practices, just like to not like to just learn grammar, and you should be like to practice, should be like to training your conversation skills just, and very often like to practice just writing some kind of sentences, like to 2-3 sentences. It's very very helpful to organize your thoughts and like to develop your like to language skill. Yeah, it's I try to use this suggestion for my practices.
Yeah.
And how do you incorporate it in your like learning routine? I'm
Oh,
just curious how to. I want to work on my writing, and I
that's
know
important. Yeah.
yeah, I know this
I
is
think.
very important, and
I,
I
I,
need some like I need some habit. I need to develop some habit
yeah,
to stick with.
Yeah.
yeah, it's good
I
one. I
think
can, yeah,
you have to set a goal. Yeah.
I,
Okay, Johanny, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I
Yeah.
just can share like to my experience and what I do with this. Uh, in this case, I can recommend one another book what very inspired me. Book has name Atomic Habits.
Mhm.
This book described like two basic principle how manage the habits, but for me it was important and like insightful. The idea the habits is very powerful, and if you want to reach something good like to result, you just like to set up some simple habits and do this on long term and every day, and you have a very very good result. And in this case I try to do just like to everyday routine, some sit and like to read and do some exercise, some 5-6 exercise on grammar, or just sit and write 25 minutes just any random text, maybe blog post in Facebook, or maybe some part of article of what I published. After I very often use this application for speaking. I try to use every day. Yeah, sometimes it's not so very simple, but I try to keep just kind of routine.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I really have like a good result after like to half of year do like to following this like to schedules and activities.
Do you refer to the book whenever you forget something, or just you
Okay,
read it once?
yeah, I just try to find author, but I think it's all very it's very popular and translated to many languages. I sure it you without problem find in bookstore where you live in your original language, mother language. Just a second, I put name of the book and author.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. I heard about the book. But my question, Yohni, sorry, was about when you finish reading the book and you try to apply those things you mentioned earlier. Do you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
refer to the book, or just you read it once?
I read just like once. I don't have like to reason to read the second time. I just like to find some 1 or 2 ideas what like to inspired me, and some one idea is just like to set up the goals, some set up the habits and do every day. And yeah, and after this book I just try to use some regular habits, especially for my like to learning purpose, for English and for developing another skills what's important for me.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah. I mean, I was in a chamber in a university campus, and one of my friends entered the room and put this book on the table. I've seen the title and I like the title. Oh, it's Atomic Habits. I questioned him about the adjective atomic. What does it stand for? And he explained to me he wasn't I mean he hasn't finished the book yet, but he explained to me what he understood from the word. Yeah, but I mean, you have given me now a detailed description of the book. So yeah, I was trying to search for it in the library and read it.
Yeah, yeah, I recommend it. I think it's not atomic. It's just like to simple, like to some simple habits. It's not possible like to do spend a lot of time, maybe just like to 5-10 minutes. But if you do something 10 minutes during the 1 year, you should be have some progress. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. To be honest with you, I mean, since you recommended the book, I'm going to look for it. As I said, I'm going to read it. But my passion earlier was about like being far from bestsellers, and just every time I say a bestseller book, I get far from it because every time I read a piece of work in the best-selling company, then I get disappointed, both by the style and the content. Um, but this book has been recommended by many, including you. So yeah, I will I will try to read it.
Yeah, I understand your point. I agree with you because sometimes some kind of bestseller book is very often is just like to product what like many people want. It just like to some kind of like to car. If you make the like to beauty car, it will be sell a lot. Some similar if you make the nice book with nice like to title with like to some very like to I don't know attractive composition or contents. It will be like a bestseller. And maybe it's Harry Potter some kind of like a bestseller. Its idea is very cool, but like a series of book is just like to I think it's like some kind of like business. Yeah, I'm not
That's
sure
true.
this book is some very like to something very like to like super or ideal book. It just provides one idea what inspired me, and I try to use, and I see this idea is useful. It's not this idea. It's not like to relate, especially for this book, because habits is like something basic for all humans. It's author just like to tell some thoughts, and I not like to care about this book, but I just happy to use this idea uh, for my apply to life and for my practice. Yeah, and I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I
if this
mean,
book is so
yeah,
very well.
I mean that's amazing. What you have given is the result of your reading. I mean, if someone recommends a book that he has never read or he hasn't read yet, then his opinion might be unreliable. But a person who read a book and he understood and he's tried to benefit from the results of his reading, then his recommendation should be granted.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah. I agree with you. Okay.
Is a session live? Is it live?
Yeah, I just it's some kind of not only practice on my speaking skills. I practice like to manage live sessions, and I'm streaming this voice room on YouTube, and you can just find this link and watch my face and some like to
Oh, that's amazing.
pages
Hmm.
of book what you mentioned here, what was mentioned here. I just try to open page with information about this book, show the covers and some another information where what may be useful for another people. You can just like to watch and maybe find some interesting reference from another people. It's one of the reason why I ask people about what they read, because I like to collect this some interesting suggestion for future read.
Oh, that's brilliant. Um, yeah. I'm going to check this link. It just looks like I'm a very famous person. I'm going to check myself. All right. So, I mean, my voice will be shown in this link. I can just
Yeah,
see
yeah,
myself.
yeah. You should be. Sorry, if you don't want this. I just mentioned this in some on start of the chat, but if you, yeah, I don't know. If you don't like it, I just maybe.
No, I have no problem.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. But I
No, I
tried
have no problem.
just like to mention in the start of this voice room that I have a live session to be like to
Yeah.
inform people
No,
who
no,
stay
yeah.
here.
No, opposite. It's the opposite. I mean, of course, it's good to benefit from the experience, and in any case, our conversation will not go viral in the world like a Donald Trump's speech. So, yeah, I mean, this is a very good conversation with you. Um,
Yeah, I think our conversation it's not like this kind of conversation what should be very viral, because it's just like maybe for most of the people it's some kind of boring conversation about books, and I think some popular voice rooms here is just chatting about I don't know some simple topics. Yeah.
it's not simple. It's a trivial topic. Just say it.
Yeah, I know. I understand why, because
Yeah,
sometimes it's
trivial.
yeah. I think it's sometimes it's complicated to talk about something serious with people that you don't know and first time see in the voice room. Yeah, it's just, but for me it's not like my
Yeah,
type
of
of.
course I don't overgeneralize my judgment. Of course, there are some people who are open and interested in discussions, but just from my experience, the majority of rooms that I visit, just talking about things that have nothing to do with language learning, just to, yeah. But of course, if you look carefully and try to be patient, assess the talks that people initiate, of course you're going to find what you're looking for. I agree.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's one of the reasons why I started my own voice room here, because it's more simple when you like to open your voice room. You just wait the people, and if you write some kind of boring like to name of the voice room, like my about book, and just some people who interested in this topic will join to conversation, and it saves a lot of my energy. I not jump from one voice room to another, because sometimes it's very complicated to like to make conversation, but when the people join to you it's some another experience. I just recommend it for you, maybe start your own room voice room and try to uh, talk with people about something, and it's not just for practice, just for practice your conversation skills, like to how keep conversation interesting, how manage when 2 or 3 or more people join. Yeah, it's very very interesting and good practice. I recommend
Yeah,
it for you.
yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I will take it into consideration, and I think it benefits a lot because because the people who join you and who can see the title of your voice room and follow the discussion, then of course the people who join your voice room are the people who are interested in the topic. You don't force anyone to take into things that they are not interested in. So yeah, I think that it's a very nice idea.
Yeah, yeah. uh, yeah, it's some kind of like to filter just who want to join, and sometimes to be honest I spent like 25 minutes and just wait and no one join. Sometimes this happen, maybe because I started in like in late time, or I don't know, maybe something happened, but almost every time when I started, like 1 or 2 people join and we have a very very nice conversation. It's almost the time. In other words, every time now that someone who for whom this topic was will interesting join.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, so you didn't tell me what you are reading, you told me what you have read. Right now, what are you reading?
Yeah, it's about me. Okay, I just like to repeat. I'm reading the book that has name Humans of New York. Just a second, I find some information, like the correct name of this book. This book it's like some kind of photo album where photographer took the photo strangers on New York streets, and alongside the photos she like to place some stories of these strangers. In other words, you see the pictures like to some people and some short story and about the ideas, the thoughts about like to the dreams, or sometimes it's just like to one sentence. And this is very nice because it's show like to ordinary people in some far city, what I like to dream to visit sometimes. Yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah,
just a second,
that's
I
interesting.
provide information about this book if you want to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just maybe duplicate my comments. Okay, I type it, but my comments appear. Humans of New York, cities, so stories. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's very nice, like to nice book that it's very like to how describe. It's very good book to keep on the hand because it's have very good super cover, have good printing, have a good like to pictures. I like this kind of book when the book it's not just like to paper, it's like to some kind of maybe some kind of art too.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, I'm very interested in hard copy books. I don't like electronic books. I don't like to. So I'm not sure I'm going to find it or in the bookshop. We have only one, to my knowledge, English bookshop, which is the biggest one in Morocco. Because Morocco is it's not a Anglo-Saxon country, so you can find books in French, in Arabic, but we still suffer the shortage in English books. Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, humans of New are these stories interconnected in the plot, or they are independent stories?
Sorry, it's just like to you can imagine situation. Photographer takes some camera, goes through the city and sees the one people. They just like to took some several photos of these people, of this person, and go ask this person some several questions, and it's all. And sometimes they maybe exchange like to emails to for future communication, but this is like a short like a story, photos and some several sentences, and it's just like a book. It's like collection of these people. This story is not connected each other, but author sometimes group like to 2 or 3 photos together to be joined like to one idea. For example, on one side of on one page possible present picture of the like a policeman, another present like to narc drug dealer photo, or something another maybe in one and 2 pages present like to some stories about people who use the drugs or something like this, just like a compilation, maybe some similar stories together.
Okay, it's great. Yeah.
It's just some like to collection of people's stories in under one cover.
Mhm.
But stories is not so very big. It's just like some several sentences of this person, or or maybe a sentence just like one.
Yeah, so amalgamated with photographs and illustrations.
Yeah, I think it should be present some website where author or photographer like to post this like to maybe more photos and stories, and based of this blog they after compile this book. But I not found this website yet. But to be honest, I'm not sure that you can find this book in bookshop in your country, because maybe something limited. And I just like to randomly find in my second-hand bookshop here, and this book attract my attention. I bought this book. I'm not looking for some special this book. I just like to randomly,
Oh,
occasionally found and enjoyed.
okay. So yeah, I will take your recommendations into granted. And of course, if I didn't find them, I would go to Amazon, because sometimes you can find secondhand books or used books. Depends on the price, whether it's the cover, like a book with what we call it, the two ways of shipping. So it depends. I'm going to look for it in the Amazon if I didn't find it. Yeah, after reading the more about the book and the assessment of it, of course.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's a very good idea. If you want to like a hard copy of this book, you just can find in Amazon. I think it should be it's present a lot of in Amazon, because it's some very popular. I think in New York especially. Yeah, I think without problem you find, and if you like to engage to have like a hard copy. Yeah, it's good point.
Yeah,
I not
sometimes I find cheaper books. It's like $13. I mean, it's not very expensive to me, but the shipping is very expensive when the book is
Yeah.
shipped.
yeah.
Yeah, then the price rises exponentially, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree, because book it's not so like too light thing for shipping. Yeah, I think it should be cost by, because it's very often like to has high weight. Yeah, but if you talk about this book, what this copy I bought, it just cost like to $2.5.
Wow,
It's
very
it's
cheap.
yeah, it's one of the reasons why every Sunday I go this bookstore, secondhand bookstore, and just go through the shelves to buy something what attract my attention.
Oh, you're lucky guys. You're very lucky.
I'm not sure lucky,
Oh, yeah.
but it's like to my kind of like to ritual what I do very often, and it's some kind of relaxation.
Yeah, I wish I had the opportunity to find English books everywhere, or at least in my city. What I can find in the library here in the city, just like some Russian authors like Dostoevsky, Tolstoy. I mean, 18th century and 17th century books, can just buy them online, and it's so expensive for me. Um, yeah,
Yeah, but I think now it's time is very wondering when like to get some kind of book what you want. It's not so like to very rare like to very real problems. You should be just have some enough money, and you possible like to order it any book from any part of the world, and you get this book in, I don't know, in 1 or 2 weeks. It's very wondering time when we
absolutely,
live in, and
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I think it's for me. It's I should be like to end today's session because I spent a lot of time and I have a nice conversation with you and guys what was here before. Yeah, it was very nice.
Me too. Me too. I enjoyed a lot the conversation, Yoni. Thank you for opening and giving me this chance to interact in this very interesting topic.
Yeah, it's you're welcome, and I very like to when people join again and again this voice room. I'm not sure you maybe if you not follow me here in voice room in
No, I'm
HelloTalk.
your follower. I
Okay,
mean,
nice.
I can see your I can receive the notification. So
Nice.
of course, whenever I'm available, I join you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm busy, so yeah. But whenever I have the opportunity to go and check and participate, of course I do.
Yeah, it's very nice that you find this like to our conversations, this voice room like to useful and interesting for you. I just like to one additional mention. If you want to see some maybe previous conversation with not with another guys, I just like to send link again for my YouTube channels where you can find the previous talks. Just subscribe.
Okay, so
just subscribe on this, and you get the notification for about new live session. I don't know. Especially, I'm not like to very often watch YouTube videos, but I like to try some another kind of content creation when not just talk, maybe put some kind of information about books or something, maybe that people will be interesting.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Yohani, and
yeah,
I will. Yeah,
thank you for your time, for your talk, and see you next time here.
Thank you. Goodbye. Have a nice night.
Goodbye. Okay. I think it was very, very nice conversation today, and some like I remember like 4 people. No, it's like 3 people join to stage today, and we talk about a lot of books, and I got several references what I want to read for future, and also it was very good time when I just like to share my thoughts about some aspects related and connected with books. Okay, thank you for your time. You watch this video, HelloTalk live session on Bookshelf Babble podcast. If you like it, just put your like. If you have some feedback, just write your comment, or don't forget to subscribe on the channel to get future notification. And see you next time here in live session on HelloTalk platform. Okay, goodbye. See you next time.
The pages hear the sound of time, stories weaving words that climb, whispered tales in a cozy nook. Welcome to the magic of every book. Bookshelf babble, take the stage, turn the chapter, fill the page. Laughter, wisdom, stories to spare, a podcast world where books are everywhere. From paperbacks to leather spines, mysteries, thrillers, and classic lines. Stories crackle, voices ring. Dive on in, it's a podcast thing. Adventures waiting just one word away, from Austen's romance to Hemingway. Gather round, it's the bookish delight. Unfold the tales under podcast light. Book Bookshelf Babble, take the stage. Turn the chapter, fill the page. Laughter, wisdom, stories to spare. A podcast world where books are